Suspects have the package and appear headed to the drop point.
I hit a suspect.
Hello YouTube, my name's Nero and today we have some Battlefield Hardline, and ladies and gentlemen, it is time to do the full impressions video of Battlefield Hardline. I said in my last video that I wanted to get some more playtime under my belt before I really gave any real impressions. Before that, I was only level 5 or so, and I had maybe a half hour, 45 minutes worth of playtime under my belt, and I couldn't really give you guys a full impressions, full review, if you will, of the multiplayer. But since then, I've played probably 7 hours. I put about 7 hours into the multiplayer, and I keep wanting to go back to play more. And to me, that's a sign of a very good game. I'm talking about that on Twitter. The game itself is a whole lot of fun, and I just keep wanting to go back and play. Like, I get off, it's like, okay, it's enough Battlefield for today. And then maybe half an hour later, it's like, I kind of want to go back and play some more, right? It's one of those gripping games that you kind of continue wanting to keep going back and continue playing, which is definitely a sign of a pretty good game, in my opinion. So there's a lot of things you guys probably want to know with this impressions video. How has the game changed from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4? And most importantly, is it worth your money? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are always asking me, Nero, is it worth my money? Should I pay the $60 to buy this game? And I hate answering that question. I really, really do. Because if I like something, that's great, and I'm happy with my purchase. I like something. But here's the thing. I'm not you, right? I'm not you. I don't have the exact same interests. I don't have the exact same tastes as a lot of other people. So if I like something, chances are you guys may not like it, or you may like it. It's really kind of give or take. So what I want to do with this video is just give you my impressions of the game, and I don't want to tell you whether or not you should purchase it, just because I don't like having that there. I have this picture in my head where somebody's going to buy something that I recommend, and then they're going to get it, and then they're going to be disappointed by it, right? I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to give you guys all the information you would need to make an informed decision. Then you guys can come to that conclusion on your own. First and foremost, what has changed? Well, this is Battlefield Hardline. It's not Battlefield 4. It's not Battlefield 3. It's not really much like a Battlefield game in the traditional sense of the word. Now, when I picture Battlefield, right, I picture tanks rolling by. I picture helicopters, transport choppers dropping in troops, people, you know, blowing up stuff, Revolution 2.0, that kind of stuff where everything's blowing up. You don't really have a ton of that in this game. It's really not like that. Like Conquest Large, which is one of my favorite game modes in the Battlefield series. It is basically 32 on 32, and it's a game of conquest where there's 5 or I think 5 objectives no matter what. Yeah, there's 5 objectives, and there's 32 people on each team, and it's like an all-out war. Like I said, you've got tanks, you've got helicopters, you've got jeeps, you've got jets, you've got all kinds of crazy stuff. There is Conquest Large in this game, but it's not nearly as vehicle-driven as other Battlefield games. It more or less sticks to the theme of cops and robbers, which is what Battlefield Hardline is about. So instead of having tanks rolling through and stuff like that, you have SUVs, which are very, very powerful. You have these SUVs that have mounted turrets on the top, and of course, you're going to have a bunch of different kind of street vehicles and stuff like that you can get in. And of course, there are helicopters. There are like little mini piloted helicopters you can fly around in, as well as there are different kinds of transport choppers. But for the most part, it's not the same Battlefield that you would expect from Battlefield 4. Like, don't be like a big Conquest Large player from Battlefield 4, then come into this game and expect to be able to do the same thing. The vehicles don't play as big of a role in all of the game modes, not just Conquest Large. But to me, that's kind of a good thing. So I've always kind of been about the gunplay in Battlefield. While I like to play with the vehicles, I like to play with the tanks and the helicopters and stuff, I more or less like being the person that's out there on the field. You know, the person that's out there in the field, no one really knows where he's at, and he's out doing his own thing. I'm about to solo cap this flag. I've snuck all the way clear around this map. I've taken out 2 helicopters and a jeep on my way over here, and I'm about to solo cap this thing. I like being like that lone wolf kind of thing, and you really kind of get that same feel when you're playing Battlefield Hardline. You're running around, and you're doing what you can to play the objective, wherever the objective may be. There are a bunch of different game modes within this game. There's Hotwire, there's Heist, there's Blood Money, there's Conquest. Of course, there's a bunch of other stuff as well. And in each one of them, you need to play the objective, but in each one of them, you can still get that same Battlefield-esque feel that you've gotten from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. That's one of the things I definitely like about it. The unlock system is definitely a whole lot different than what it was in Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. I'm sure if you guys have played the beta or have learned really anything about this game so far, it's that this game runs on a money system to kind of fit with the cops and robbers style of theme. So instead of unlocking things just by leveling up, like let's say, for example, you unlock your AK-74U at level 30, instead of something like that happening, you can purchase it as soon as you have the money to get it. And you can earn money in-game just by playing the game, playing the objective, winning matches, and doing different kinds of things. But you can take that money and you can purchase your guns, and from there, you have to unlock the attachments to be able to purchase them. Does that make sense? So let's go here. Basically, let's say I want to unlock this gun. If I purchase it, then now, of course, if I want to add any attachments to it, I have to actually do a challenge to unlock the attachments, then I can purchase the attachments. But for the initial thing, all you really need to do is purchase purchase the gun, but it's going to come, keep in mind, with no attachments on there. And also, another thing to throw out there, the entire idea of purchasing weapons is it's a bit different. So basically, you purchase a weapon. Now, for example, I purchased the P90 here. The P90, I love the P90 in Call of Duty games and stuff like that, so I figured I would like it in this game, and boy, do I like it in this game. It's very, very fun. But the problem with it is it is a criminal-only weapon, so I can only use that weapon when I'm playing on the criminal side. Every match you load, it's either going to be you're going to be on the cop side or you're going to be on the criminal side. And if you're on the cop side, you can't use that P90 that you just spent all your money on, which is really kind of a bad thing. But if you look down here, there's actually a challenge called Weapon License, where if you get 1,250 total kills with that weapon, you unlock a license for it, allowing you to actually use that weapon on both factions, right? Does that make sense? So no longer will be only a criminal weapon, it could also be a cop weapon once I unlock that challenge. So it can kind of be tough to earn a bunch of money and then buy a brand new gun, then realize you can only use it in half of your games. But keep in mind that you can earn a lot of money within this game very, very quickly. It just depends on what game modes you are playing and how hard you are playing the objective, which is one of the cool things. One of the great things about Battlefield Hardline is no matter what you do, playing the objective is always the best way to, one, level up, and two, earn money, which is definitely great. There's a real objective feel to when you're playing this game, whereas I remember back in Battlefield 4, which I put an unholy amount of time into, I can remember a lot of players, they would just snipe in the back of the map. While it could be argued that, you know, them being in the back of the map, sniping, trying to defend objectives that way is a form of playing the objective, it was very rare when I had more than one other person with me trying to take flags in Conquest. It was very rare if there was more than just me and someone else trying to take an MCOM station while playing Rush, right? It was kind of rare for that kind of stuff to happen, and it's not the case in Hardline. In Hardline, everybody's playing the objective all the time, and it's really a nice change of pace. I definitely enjoy that. How are the maps? How are the game modes? I think that's something that a lot of people want to know about. So there's only 8 maps in the multiplayer right now. One's going to assume there's going to be DLC coming out that's going to add different kinds of maps. But I like most of the maps. I really do. I think a lot of the maps are pretty good. I like the map Riptide. I like the map Everglades. I like Hollywood Nights. If I had to pick like a least favorite map, it would probably be Derailed, just because I don't know. I just don't like the layout of the map personally. But overall, there's a lot of good maps within this game. And if you like the maps from the beta, a lot of the maps have that same kind of similar feel. And at the same time, we have a more Americanized sense when we're playing on these maps. You know, if you think back once again to Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, a lot of it, not all, but a lot of it was set over in China, a lot of it was in Russia, a lot of these really foreign places that you couldn't really relate to too much unless, of course, you lived in those areas. Well, in Battlefield Hardline, a lot of it is Americanized. There is a map which the name is escaping me, keep in mind the game just came out, but there's a map that makes you really feel like you're down in Louisiana, like in a swampy area, and it just looks really cool, like you're in a small town in Louisiana. Then, of course, you go all the way over there and you're just in downtown Los Angeles, which is definitely kind of a cool thing. You're at like this big drug lord's manor thing. It's really cool. I like the maps. I like the layouts of the maps and where they're set. Like, that's always a big thing for me in video games, is the setting of the game and like what's going on within it. And I like the setting. I like the theme of Battlefield Hardline. I think it's definitely a pretty good theme overall. The game modes are pretty interesting. Of course, one sad thing in my personal opinion, which of course this could change down the road, but Rush is not in this game, and that's sad to me. Domination isn't either. I'm like, oh man, I played so much Rush, and I played so much Domination back in Battlefield 4. I kind of wish they were in here, but they have replaced them with some pretty good game modes. So of course, Hotwire is a brand new game mode where basically it's exactly like Conquest, except the objectives are vehicles that you need to zip around the map really quickly. It's a whole lot of fun. A lot of people, I think it's universally agree that Hotwire is a pretty awesome game mode. They've added in Heist, which Heist is an okay game mode. Me personally, I can't really wrap my head around it too well. I can never seem to do that well in there. The objectives are constantly changing. Like, basically, the cops have to defend the vault, but if the criminals break into the vault, they take the money from it, then they need to run to a helicopter to be able to drop off the money, and you need to stop them and return the money back. There's a lot going on in that game, but I can't really wrap my head around it, so I'm not a big fan of it personally. But then the other game mode that they added, which is new to the Battlefield franchise, is Blood Money, which Blood Money is amazing. So basically, there's a central point in the map, which is going to be where all the money is. You go there, you grab as much money as humanly possible, then you take that back to your little base there, and then you deposit your money, and first team to get a certain amount of money actually goes ahead and wins. I like that mode a lot, because of course, if somebody's holding a bunch of money, and you kill them, they drop all that money, you can pick it up, and you try to take it back to your base. I think it's a really fun game mode that actually has a ton of action in it, which is one of my favorite parts about it. That's definitely one of my favorite parts about the entire idea of that. It's constant action. It's a whole lot of fun. Of course, for your more traditional Battlefield players, there's still Conquest Large. You still have Conquest Large where you can, run around on this giant scale map, and the kills really feel rewarding when you're doing that. Like, if you're playing something like, for example, you're playing Blood Money, right? Especially on one of the smaller maps, you kind of get used to getting kills there. But you're playing Conquest Large, it still has that same feel that Battlefield has always given me, where I shoot somebody and I get the kill on them, and it feels really rewarding, right? For some reason, when I play Battlefield, getting kills in the game actually feels rewarding, which I think is definitely one of the better things. In terms of weapon balance, I haven't really noticed any gripes with the weapon balance. I've seen a lot of people talking about the K10 and how that gun might need a little bit of a nerf. Apparently, it's like a submachine gun with a crazy high fire rate that melts people really, really quickly. I haven't personally unlocked it, but I have like $90,000. Next time I hop on, I'm actually going to purchase it and try it out for myself, see how it is, see what all the hubbub's about. But in terms of weapon balance, I've seen it be pretty good. It's been pretty good so far. The vehicles is my only real gripe with the game. The vehicles are kind of hard. So there's not a lot of vehicles. Like I said, there's not a giant focus on vehicles within this game. And so as a result of that, there's very few vehicles. So they didn't want them to just become completely obsolete. So the engineers of this game, which are called mechanics, they don't have lock-on launchers in their inventory. You can't just equip a Stinger and take down helicopters like you could in prior Battlefield games. How they've replaced that is Stingers themselves are actually drops on the map that you can, of course, find in different buildings and stuff like that, and then you can use those to take down helicopters. Also, if you're playing a game mode that has a lot of vehicles, occasionally a vehicle will have something in the trunk. You can go back there and open up the trunk, and you can find a bunch of different stuff in there, including Stingers, including RPGs, and things of that nature. But still, I've had a lot of difficulty taking down helicopters. Well, just like any other Battlefield game, if you find somebody that's a very, very good pilot, with a very skilled pilot that can navigate properly, get his gunners in the right position, that is somebody to be feared, because those helicopters are pretty hard to take down. There has been a lot of people saying that it is kind of easy to take down the choppers if you're using a sniper rifle with magnum ammo. Now, that may be the case, but in my personal opinion, I don't think I should have to run around with a sniper in the recon kit to be able to take down helicopters. That's more of an engineer's job. That is my personal opinion on that, but I think as time goes by, people are going to get more acquainted with the helicopters, and I think we're going to be able to, as a community, as a whole, as a player base, I should say, be able to take them down a little bit easier, and they won't be running as rampant. And then again, it's Battlefield. People have never flown a helicopter before, still take the helicopters, like, don't worry guys, I'll fly us over there, then they crash it right into a building or something like that. And so they're not really that big of a deal, but the helicopters and the vehicles definitely are pretty powerful, and there's not a ton of efficient ways, I should say, to be able to take them out as of right now. So overall, I would say that is my initial impressions of Battlefield Hardline. I'm enjoying the game. I really am. Like I said, I put about 5 hours into it yesterday, and I put another 2 hours in this morning, but of course I only stopped because I need to start making these videos, and YouTube's been bugging out a lot lately, making it so the upload times are absurdly long, as well as the processing time. So I wanted to get an early start on this video so I can get up in a timely manner for you guys. So those are my initial impressions. I like the maps, I like the guns, I like the theme. If you're a fan of the Battlefield franchise, you'll probably enjoy the game, is what I'm saying. You'll probably enjoy playing it. If you've never played a Battlefield game before, complete opposite end of the spectrum, it's not a lot like Call of Duty. It's like Call of Duty in that there are guns, but it's not a lot like Call of Duty. Yeah, every class has its own specific role, and you need to actually pay attention when you're using that class. Now, for example, if you're playing the Operator class, you are essentially the medic. You need to be reviving teammates. You need to be throwing down health packets to help your teammates get back up and get back in the fight. If you're playing the Mechanic class, which is the equivalent of Engineer, you need to be the person repairing your teammates' vehicles, especially if you're playing something like Hotwire. You need to be sitting in the marked vehicle, the objective vehicle, and you need to be sitting in the passenger seat just repairing away with your repair tool. You know, you need to be out there with your grenade launcher, and you need to be trying to take out the opposing vehicles. If you're playing the support class, you need to be the guy that's throwing down the ammo. You need to be doing that. If you're playing recon, you need to be doing recon things. Right? Every class has its own role, and I think that's one of the things that makes Battlefield a fun game, is that everyone is collectively working together towards a common goal. It's not like other FPS games where it's like, oh, let's all swarm the flag, kill everybody there, then we'll be good to go. It's let's all swarm the flag. Oh, you're taking damage, allow me to throw down some health for you. Oh, you just got blown up by a grenade, allow me to revive you really quickly. Oh, dude, you need ammo? Okay, let me throw that for you. Oh, we need a mobile spawn beacon or something like that. Let me throw that down for you. I like Battlefield for that, because teammates have to work together, and they do. That's like a general thing within the community, is teammates do work together. I think that's one of the core things. So those are my initial impressions of Battlefield Hardline. I don't want to go too long-winded with this video, so I'm going to cut it off here. But of course, if you guys have any other questions you would like to ask about Battlefield Hardline, of course, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel it deserves. And of course, let me know in the comment section below, what is your opinion on Battlefield Hardline so far, those of you guys that have actually been able to play it. Let me know about that. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.